Okay, so I am back and I'm here to answer some of your questions. Actually, one specific question. I just want to say thank you to everybody out there that's been supporting me and been sharing my experience and commenting on a couple of the videos that went viral. Um, and I did a video, a follow up video about one of your questions, but um, I mixed it in with other questions that people were asking me. So I definitely want to do a little bit of a longer video to answer this question because I feel like a lot of you kind of missed that video. And I'll expand on this question that people can keep asking me. And it's a got you question, pretty much. It's, if you guys didn't see my video, I did a video called The Aliens, these aliens that's out here, these creatures that are in the sky, created this simulation that we live in. And then, I did the whole story about that, and I did other videos, other follow up videos. Um, and the one question I keep getting asked is, okay, if they created us, who created them? And it's kind of like a got you question. Like, um, atheists pretty much use the same question for the idea of God, or religious people or whoever. It's a got you question. Like, well, if God is real, then who created God? If God is creator, who created God? The question I'm gonna answer this question, and it's gonna be a really weird answer I'm gonna give you. Actually, it's a combination of a lot of weird answers. So let's think of time and space. Let's talk a little bit about science. Time and space. What's actually, you know what? We'll bring up Einstein, one of the most brilliant minds of the not only 20th century but of all time. Where he said time and space are one thing. Um, we live in this world, in this simulation, in this place, however you want to look at it. I believe it's a simulation. I gave you, you know, I shared my experience with you guys. Um, but I'll I'll pick up where I kind of left off at from a previous video. So let's look at time as a donut, like just like a regular donut. And it's one of these my dumb analogies I'm using again, just to simplify, you know, an understanding, a better understanding of what I'm trying to say. Time, look at it as a donut. Time continuously cycles itself, meaning that time doesn't really exist at all. You could say time is our creator. Time is the creation of everything. Um, and when time has always been there, it's always been constant. Nobody created it. Time created itself. That's what the creator is. That's what the creation is. That's what all of this is. I know that's kind of a, when I say time doesn't exist and it created all of this, I know what you guys are thinking about. Well, that's a paradox. That doesn't make any sense. Because if you ask that question, time doesn't exist, it can exist, doesn't exist, but yet time does exist at the same time. Remember that at the same time, it doesn't apply to time. That paradox doesn't apply to time. So let's keep that in mind that everything that you know, and don't get lost. I'm going to explain it. I'm explaining it now. Everything that you know, the universe, the planets that are hundreds of millions of miles away, these creatures that exist, they all exist within our timeline. They're all happening at the same time because of this continuous cycle that continues to go round and round and round. And it's essentially never ending. There is no, what we think of as time, we think of as human beings, we think of as a beginning and we think of it as an end, right? Because we think birth, and then, which is point A, and then death, which is point B. With time, because of that cycle, it's never ending. So there is no point A or point B. It just continues on and on and on, which leaves our existence in question, because how do you define our existence within this time? And you really can't define our existence in this time, because if time doesn't exist, then it's impossible to define our true design, to define who we are. Now we know that we're humans because that's what we've labeled ourselves. If you want to, if you want a creator, if you want the idea of a creator, you could say, well, we are the creator. We created ourselves. We created ourselves. Our brain is projecting our everyday experience, so therefore we have control over everything. We create everything. So you can look at it from that point, from that perspective. Now, I'll give you guys another analogy. Let's say that we are the creators because we control our world and we control the things around us. Let's just say that we are the creators. And then at some point in time, we created these creatures. And something happened. Something happened in that simulation. Something happened in that multiverse, which disrupted us as human beings. Maybe we were named something completely different other than a human being. Maybe we had different language. Maybe we looked a little bit different than we did before, something cataclysmic happened to us. Maybe we once existed. Maybe this is our third, fourth time around as human beings. But anyways, let's say something happened to us and we were able to create these creatures. We died off, they lived on, and now they recreated us in the image that they remembered. And so here I am talking to you, living, breathing in this simulation that seems real. And because time, doesn't really exist, time exists side by side. And so when people bring up this saying, well, these creatures are future versions of us, they've gone back in time, it's a possibility. It's you can't rule that out, because if it's a possibility that we are the creators of these creatures. Um, but let's focus on this right now, this moment right now. Let's say if that is a possibility. Let's say a lot of people want to say, well, there are future versions of us. That's also another possibility, because time doesn't matter to them. Time doesn't exist. And we always speak of these creatures as interdimensional beings. And when I say interdimensional, I mean they're from the outside world. They're not a part of our simulation. They're not a part of our multiverse. However you want to describe what this is, this reality of ours is. They're not a part of that. They enter from the outside world. They enter from their worlds into ours, and they manipulate everything. They manipulate our thoughts, our ideas. They control things. Another question I was asked is, not everything is random, because I said in the previous video that everything is random. Everything is random, but they manipulate everything. They manipulate our surroundings. We can't see, what's in front of us because of the simulation, because of the fourth dimension. We're not able to comprehend what's in front of us, but we know that they're there, and they've always been there.